Hey friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my first art journal with me video of 2023. So if you're new to my channel, I just started art journaling in January of 2022 and I did one spread a month in my first art journal, which was this one here. So there's 12 spreads for 2022. And if you'd like to see a flip through of this one, I have that on my channel. And this year we're going to be starting a new one. It is the same journal as before because I really did love it, just a different color. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up so I can just show you a little bit of what it looks like. And I did purchase this on Amazon, and I'll have it linked down below just in case anyone is interested. But it is this one here. It's 5.5 by 5.5 square, 25% cotton, cold press, acid free, 140 pound or 300 GSM with 24 pages. So I'll just slide off this belly band, and then inside it is the same exact watercolor paper as before. It's really nice and thick and just a really sturdy book that holds up to a lot of different mediums. And then of course it comes with this little strap closure to keep it compact. And then for my other elements today, I've got my washi tape, as always, to seal in the spine. I'm going to be using some papers from the Stamperia Cosmos collection. This is the 8x8 pad, which just has like a space kind of theme to it, which I thought was kind of nice for the new year with all the moons. I also have my Tim Holtz Small Talk stickers, which I use for my titles. I have a few little bits of paper ephemera and some washi tickets. I have a couple of clock washi tape stickers, which I thought would be nice for the new year, just to symbolize the changing of time. I have a couple of Faber-Castell gelatos. These are the Iridescents, which I thought would be nice to add some extra color. For my personal item this month, I was really racking my brain because I didn't really have anything to use, but I did start bullet journaling this year. That was kind of my new venture. And when I started my bullet journal this year, I bought it from Notebook Therapy, and I also bought a set of washi tapes to match. So I thought maybe I could just incorporate some of the washi tape that I bought to go with that. It has a little bit of a space theme, again with the moons and the constellations, and it's in the right color palette as well. So I'm just going to incorporate a little bit of that to kind of give a nod to kind of my new hobby, I guess. So that's everything I'm going to be using today. So let's jump in and get started. So I'm going to open this up, and I like to skip this first page because this one is just regular paper. It's pretty flimsy, so it's not great for adding mediums on top. We're going to open up to this first page, and maybe I will add a little bulldog clip just to kind of weigh it down and keep things open for now since it's brand new. And then it is perforated just like the other one. If you can see that, it has those little dots. It makes it easier to tear out the pages if you would want to do that. So I am going to line my book with some washi tape so that mine doesn't start to separate because I want to keep it intact. So let me just get some washi started here. There we go. So I'm just going to add that down the center spine here. And I'm just going to tear off what's left over, and we'll just stick that somewhere else just to add a little bit of something to the page. I'm just trying to get stuff on there because the blank page is always the most intimidating part. So getting something down right away is going to kind of eliminate a little bit of that stress of trying to figure out like where to begin. Just jump in, dive in, begin, and don't stress about it. And then look, you've already got something on the page. It's already started, so it's just easier to keep going, you know. And add just a little bit more here, not too much. A few extra places. And the nice thing about these washi tapes is they are transparent, so you can layer them over each other and get a little bit of what's underneath showing through as well. Alright, I think that's good. So I'm going to jump in with some of these papers. And I just went through my stash and chose things that were in the right color palette. And I did get a new glue stick. If you guys remember on my last video, I ran out while I was filming that last video. So it did last me 12 spreads because I only used it for this. But I did grab another one. And again, I'll have all of that linked down below. So I'm just going to add a little extra layers here to kind of build up that texture and just get something going on. And a lot of this stuff will end up getting covered up in the process, you know. It's not all going to stay and be visible because we're building up layers, but that's absolutely fine. That's the nature of art journaling or junk journaling, whatever you want to do, depending on you know, which style it is. So I'm going to add another piece maybe down here. Just trying to spread that out throughout. Let me get another piece over on this side. Maybe we'll just put a little bit somewhere in the middle. And I do really like this glue. This is the Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength, in case I didn't mention it. And it worked great for me last year, so I just decided to continue using it. I have no complaints at all. Alright, so we've got this little paper here with some writing on it. Oh, and it is a sticker. I didn't even realize it was a sticker. So let's maybe use this one in two places just to give it more of a chance to show up in the final layout. Layer some over here and maybe down here. And then I've got like some lined notebook paper with some numbers down the side, kind of like that. So how are you guys doing? I am really glad to be filming this art journal video today because it means I get to chat a bit more and you know, not just explain the process as I do with my card making videos, but you know, also just share a bit more and check in with you guys and see what you all have been up to. Very curious to see if any of you have started art journaling this year as well. I know some of you last year were intrigued by the idea, and so I'm curious to see if any of you have kind of jumped in. Definitely leave me a comment down below in the comments and let me know if you have. So I'm just trying to put like little pops here and there, you know, of different things to just tie everything together. I like this blue as well, so maybe we'll do some of this one. I feel so out of practice with talking to you guys like directly to the camera, because normally when I'm filming my card making videos, you know, I am not talking. I am listening to an audiobook while I'm creating, and it's been a while now. It's been, you know, a couple of weeks since I've had to remember to speak, and so pardon me if I forget a little bit here and get quiet. It's just hard to get back in the swing of talking out loud at the same time as filming, because usually I go back and do a voiceover later on, but for these videos I like this more informal style. It just makes me feel like I don't know, like I'm hanging out with friends and crafting with friends, so I just enjoy that. So let's get some of these clocks going on here. I think those would be kind of interesting to have in the background, just to kind of tie everything together. Maybe we'll overlap the spine here. Let's put that one right down the center. And then I've got another one with kind of like a black outline. I just went through my collection of like washi tape clock stickers. I have a few because I bought like a kit, you know, when I first started, and one of the kits that came in the bundle, it came with like a bunch of different stuff, was clocks. So I'm just using these here. I'll put that one there. And I've got this kind of ticket sticker. I'm gonna tear that as well. Get like a couple pieces in different spots. And maybe, I don't know, maybe something down here. And you see, because these are transparent, like you get the paper underneath, which is kind of cool. You get that little checked pattern. It just adds to the layers, you know, which is nice. All right, let me add a little bit of this washi tape like I mentioned. So just get a few pieces of that going on. Just want a different kind of edge there. Something down here. Let's take one more piece. Maybe we'll come down towards the bottom. Okay, and then maybe, I don't know if that'll end up showing, but I'll put that up there. All right, so I think I'm ready to kind of decide what my background pieces are going to be and my focal image. So I'm going to flip through here and pick something out. I was really drawn to this image here with this moon. I really liked that, and all of like the gold details on that kind of sapphire blue background. So that one is a big possibility. And then just flipping through here, this page is very pretty as well. Has a smaller moon if I want to go with a little bit of a smaller piece there. And I like this owl. But I almost think I'd like this owl. It's a nice big focal image that'll really stand up well. And also owls are kind of like a symbol of wisdom. And, you know, you want to be smart about starting the new year and making good choices. So I think this is going to be a definite. So let me pull this out. And let's see which one of the other ones. Do I even need another page? That actually might be enough. I do like that moon though. I'm going to tear it out because I think I do like it, and I think I'd like to use it. So maybe we'll have like 2 focal points. I could have the moon up there and the owl down in this corner. Okay. Let me take a minute to see exactly how I'd like to add these, if I want to like fussy cut or tear them out or what. So give me a second here to think about it. So I did decide to fussy cut the owl out, but I think I'm going to tear out the moon because I do like this glow that is around it, and if I fussy cut it out, I would lose that. So I think I'm just going to tear out the moon. And by the way, the direction that you tear your paper is going to determine the edge. So if you pull up on the left-hand side, you're going to be left with like a cleaner edge there. Whereas if you pull up on the right-hand side, you're going to be left with like the white core of the paper showing through. So it just depends on the look that you're going for. But I think I like that white edge, so I'm going to go ahead and tear that. And I think I need to make it a little bit smaller. So something like that maybe. Kind of like the owl in front of it, but I don't know yet. It also might be nice to kind of go off the edge of the page a bit. But before I commit, I think I want to add some extra little bits of this stuff. So let me see what I want to use. I like this bottom corner. Might be nice there. Just make it a little bit less straight on the edges. I'll glue that right there. I'm letting a little bit of that edge kind of hang over the side of the page because it gives you a little bit of like a decal effect going on, which is quite nice. I definitely want more stuff behind the owl. I think though I want some of this page here because I really like all these different colors. So let's just tear down a little bit. This one. I do like that. There's no right or wrong, you know? It's just testing things out and seeing if you like them, and not letting yourself get like stumped by the decision-making process, you know? Like you don't have to try out 5 million things and see which one is the best. It's just, you know, make a decision and go with it, which is a little bit tricky for me because I am a perfectionist by nature, and so, you know, sometimes it's hard for me to just go with the flow, but I have found that the art journaling has really helped me with that. It's just like a safe space to be able to kind of do that, you know, to just make decisions and be okay with them, you know, without having to stress about whether it's the perfect choice or not, you know. What is that saying? Like, I can't remember, but something about good enough is better than not done at all or something. So I like this green in here. That's kind of cool. I use a little bit of that. And again, I'm just tearing the edges to give it a little bit more of an organic feel to it. Maybe right in somewhere in the middle. Okay. I like this this word down here. Maybe tear out that. Something like that. Or maybe even on this side. Maybe right there. It doesn't have to have the whole word showing, you know. It's about layers, so kind of like it behind the head of the owl. Something like that. I would like more back here. I do like these planets. I wonder if I could use those. At least some of them, maybe. Maybe not all together. Maybe it's too big to have all of them in one spot, but maybe like that. Okay. So things are doing okay for me. Let me see. I did recently get another A1C done. For those of you who know, like back when I first started art journaling, I kind of took you on my journey with me. With my diabetes, I was put on insulin by my doctor at the beginning, and then I worked really, really hard to get off of that because I did not want to be on insulin, which I did in 6 months. In 6 months I was able to get completely off insulin, which was great. I was so happy, and my doctor was thrilled. So I recently just had my new A1C done. So this is the first one that I've had since being completely off insulin. And it was 5.6, I believe, which is consistent with not being diabetic. So still doing really, really good. I have a doctor's appointment next month, but I'm excited to hear what she has to say. I think she's going to be really proud of me. I'm proud of myself as well, because I was very nervous going into that test. I thought I had done pretty good, but you just never know until you see the results. So I was very glad that it was, you know, a good number. Got another piece with some more of these planets, so I think I'm gonna add those somewhere just to kind of keep up with the theme, maybe over on this page to balance out the ones over there. Maybe right in here would be good. Still would like more of this darker page with the gold. I like this sun and moon here, so maybe something there. Maybe like that. Okay. And I just realized I forgot to put down my Tonic Studios mat that I usually put down to protect my work surface, so I will definitely have to do that later on before I start adding any gesso or anything just to protect it, you know. But this is getting pretty banged up now anyway. It's probably time to invest in a new one. I think I've had this one for 2 years now, this work surface here. And it is double-sided, so I think I used the other side the first year and then this side the second year. On the other side, the grid lines are white. So it's probably time. They get, you know, just kind of stained after a while. What else? I kind of like this on the back too, but I don't know if that's too similar to the moon. Maybe it's too similar. I could put some over here maybe behind the owl. Maybe just a little bit. Let's see. Let's get it smaller and just a little bit behind the owl. Because I didn't fussy cut out the little section there because I liked the blue with the words on it with all that text, so I just left it in there. So it kind of looks odd though as it is, so maybe if I overlap it on top of this blue design, it'll just kind of fit a little bit better in there. Yeah, I think that works a little bit better. And I might just add a little bit on this side of it as well. So yeah, that's my health update. And then other than that, I haven't been doing a lot other than just working, filming. My family is going on vacation again in February. My dad and stepmom always take all of us on a little trip. Not always, but we started just a couple years ago. So we're going on a trip in February, so I'm trying to not only get all my, you know, videos done for January, but also for February while I'll be gone. So I've been just a lot of work, and then any free time I've been reading. So I'm up to 11 books so far this year. Today's the 18th of January, so not too bad. And I'm very, very close to the end of my 12th book. I think I just have a little bit more to go. I'll probably finish it today. So that's exciting. Maybe up there. Just tear this edge here. I don't like this like white gap in the middle, so just trying to fill that space in. I don't know what else to update you guys on. Oh, the bullet journal, I guess. The bullet journal is going well. There's definitely like a learning curve getting used to using it all the time. I'm still doing my to-do list on a separate piece of paper, just because that's what I'm used to, and then I'm trying to transfer it back over into the bullet journal later on. And I know that seems like counterproductive because I'm doing more work than necessary, but it's really more to like get in the habit and see what works for me. My to-do list, you know, is longer than the space that I have in the art journal, so it's just, I don't know, it's kind of easier for me to do it on the paper still, but I'm trying to like find ways to write things out shorter or kind of like abbreviate so it still fits in the space, but also still is clear to me what is my next task, because I really do rely on my to-do lists to keep me on track, because I just have so many different parts, you know, of the filming and making the videos and everything. First thing in the morning after I get up, take a shower, and eat breakfast, if it's a day that I'm working from home, I come down to my office and write my to-do list. And then I do morning pages, which is journaling for 3 full pages longhand. I've told you guys that before. But that's the first thing always. And then I start in on the things on my to-do list, you know. So it's like a crucial part of my day to keep me on task. And it's just hard, like, getting used to another form of keeping track of things. I don't really like any of those are not popping for me. Maybe a little bit of this again. Let's try that. Maybe that down in that corner. Why not? We'll go ahead. So I do like the bullet journal. I do like the areas to like keep track of things, especially like I have a place for keeping track of like the last time I went to the doctor, the last time I had an eye appointment, the last time I changed my bed sheets or watered my plants, or, you know, like, so I do really like that part of it. I like, you know, the organization, which, when I did that video for you guys, like I, you know, told you that I keep things in 3 different places, and so it just was nice to would be nice to have everything in one. That was my reason for starting. So I do like that. Just getting the to-do lists in one place is still a bit tricky for me. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and commit to this guy now. I did just stick down a couple little extra pieces on the edges there just to kind of fill in some of the border. Some glue to the back of this guy. Make sure he is well coated with adhesive. And I think I'm going to stick him up just a little bit, just to kind of, that way I can cover up this cut edge. Maybe I'll even like center his head on the dials of the clock there. Kind of like that. And then just find some little scraps to cover up that cut edge. Just that, and then maybe some of this one. There we go. And I know it's probably looking a bit chaotic right now, but I'm going to use some gesso to knock things back, so don't worry. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and tear this moon down the side here and across the top. A little piece of this right underneath just to cover up that little bit of white. Not that it all has to be covered up, but I think it just kind of fits better with the space around the moon, not to have that jarring bit of white there. And then I'll go ahead and glue this down as well. All right. smoothed into place. Okay, and I think I'm gonna stop there and clean up, and then I'm gonna get out some gesso and start to knock a bit of this back. Alright, so I have laid down my Tonic Studios craft mat just to protect my work surface, like I said, and then I'm gonna start adding in some gesso. The one I use is from Pro Art, but any white gesso would do. And I usually just use a little bit, so I just set the cap off to the side and then just stick my finger in there and kind of get a little bit on there. And then what I do is I just start kind of like blurring the lines a bit where all the pieces join up together. If you don't like using your fingers, you could use a brush, but I like the control that I get from using my fingers, so it's just personal preference, but just helping everything kind of blur together and become a bit more joined together and less separate, you know, instead of like all these little bits and layers of things. It just kind of brings it into focus and makes it like look more like a whole piece. So I usually just go right where the edges of the papers meet up and then add a little bit and then kind of tap it off with another finger just so it gets very soft and kind of hazy. And I think that's the other nice thing about leaving the white core on your paper. It kind of helps with that. Gives, you know, more of that white blur together once you start adding in the gesso. So I'll do one page at a time, and that'll kind of give you an idea of what I mean. You'll be able to see the difference between the two. And then of course later on when we start adding in color, you can kind of accent these areas that you're softening as well. So instead of just being like the white, you know, they'll have that whatever color you choose to add. Hopefully you can't hear my kids. Two of them are at home right now. It's so tricky to do videos where I have to film out loud these days because one of my kids is in college, but he lives at home. So he is between classes right now. He's already been gone for the day for one of his classes, and then he's home until his next class. So he's upstairs, and then my middle son is kind of taking a year off to figure out what he wants to do. So there you can kind of see the difference between things starting to be softened a bit and then, you know, all the harsher separations between things. So he's off today as well, so he's home. So it's only my youngest who's not here, but he is off on Friday, which was the other day that I could have filmed, and he has a really booming voice. So it's very, very tricky to film, you know, when the kids are home. But it had to be done at some point. This week is kind of the last chance for me to be able to do this video. So I, you know, just asked everybody to please try to keep it down. But I could just hear them talking upstairs, so hopefully it didn't pick up on the camera's microphone. But if it did, that's just life. So I don't mind having my kids around. I'm grateful that they're all still here. I know the day is coming when none of them will be, most likely, so I'll take these days while I have them, you know. I'm not going to regret that, because the day will come soon enough when they'll be off living their own lives separate from ours, and I know that's the natural course of things, but I'm not in any hurry for that to happen. So I'm one of those weird parents, I guess, that enjoys my kids' company. I don't know. Maybe that's not so weird. It is definitely interesting, though, now that they are all nearly grown, to see the kind of adults that they're turning out to be when they're making their own choices and choices about their future and all of that. It's, you know, something that when you were a young parent you just worry so much about, and now those days are here. So, but I'm proud of my boys. They're good kids. Okay, so I think that's pretty good here. Maybe just a little bit more softening on this piece here, just because it's such a large portion. So maybe just a little bit of, not too much, you know, just a little bit of softening here and there, not covering up too much. Hopefully that'll help the owl to pop a bit too. Okay. All right, I am going to seal this with some clear gesso and we'll move on to the next step. Clear gesso I'm using is from Dina Wakley Media, and I'm just going to use a wide brush to dip in there, and then I'll start adding that. And just kind of like sealing everything in. It also acts as like a primer for any other media that you want to add over top. So I'm just doing a thin layer, but just making sure to completely cover it. As you'll definitely see a difference if you missed spots when you add your mediums over top. They'll definitely lay differently on your paper if it's coated versus uncoated. So just a nice thin layer. A jar like this lasts a super long time. I had this all of last year as well for my first art journal, so you can see the bottle is still at least halfway full, so that's nice, you know. If you, as long as you're, you know, doing it something like me where I'm only doing one spread a month and I don't use it for anything else, so it lasts me a long time anyway. If you're working with it every day, that might be a different situation. All right. I'm going to heat set this with my heat gun and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but I was looking through my stash for stencils that had stars on them. I thought that might go nicely with this theme, and I couldn't find any, but I did find this stencil from Lawn Fawn. It's called Nighttime Sky Stencil, and it does have these two tiny little sections with little star shapes in them. So I'm going to try to use those very carefully, and I think I'm going to do them in gold because I like the gold accents in here. So I'm going to use some gold stencil paste also from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to use a palette knife that has like a finer point on it, and hopefully I can get it like just where I need it. We're gonna see. If not, I can still wipe it off. So I'm just gonna hold that stencil down really firmly and then try to add some of it. I don't know, I think some of the paste on the edge that I first scooped up was too thick. So let me wipe that off and see if I can get something that's a bit smoother from the inside. That's better. Okay, it's working. I got stencil paste on my finger. Alright, where else? Oh, little bit in that cloud up there, so see how that looks. And if you work quickly, you can wipe it off if you get somewhere you don't want it. Okay. Maybe a little bit down here. Just kind of picking a few places here and there to add it. Okay. Maybe we'll go right in the crease here with a little bit. Few more spots. We'll do some on the moon. Okay, that one didn't come out as well, but that's all right. I think that might be good. I don't want to overdo it. Alright, so I'm going to go clean off this stencil and palette knife right away because this stuff hardens really fast. So now I want to add in a bit of color with some gelatos. I have 3 shades here that I've kind of picked out. I don't know which ones are going to look good, so I'll just try a little bit. I'm going to start with this blue topaz, and I like to just add a little bit and then kind of smear it around with my finger, just like with the gesso. This is a nice, pretty kind of turquoisey blue that I think does go really nice with this color palette. It kind of brings out some of these more turquoisey blues here, so I'm just going to pick a few places. I think for this one a little bit probably goes a long way. Add some of that back in around the moon as well. Okay, put some on this side. And these are the iridescents, which I think I told you guys earlier. So they have a little bit of like a almost like a pearlized sheen to them. So I think that also is really nice for this particular scene here. Just kind of adds to that overall space idea with the different colors, different sources of light. Alright, let's try a different shade. Maybe we'll go with this one. This is Tanzanite, which is one of my favorite gemstones. I love Tanzanite. It's so stunning. Just pick a few more places to incorporate that. We still have our 3 clocks in here, last I checked, right? 1, 2, 3. So just little bits of them, but that's okay. That's kind of how I wanted it, you know, just little pops of it, little glimpses. And I did dry the paste with my heat gun as well, so I can go right over it if I need to, and it's completely, you know, stuck there now. Oh, I forgot I wanted to leave that spot for the date. That's all right. It's a little bit purple tone now, but that's fine. At least the ink will still stand up on it. And then I also have this shade here, which is Blue Sapphire, That's another one of my favorite gemstones. That's my birthstone. So my birthday is in September. So I'll add a bit of that. See what I meant earlier too about like kind of going over some of the white areas. It just helps soften things even further and just pull all those colors together. And being on the white, it just helps them to stand out a bit more too, than if you would just put them directly over like a dark color. I don't have to cover up all of the white, but just kind of knock some of it back a bit. Things look a little bit more cohesive. Maybe back behind the owl. Okay. I think that's looking pretty good. I was thinking I maybe would want it to incorporate a bit more of that gold color. I have this Inca Gold metallic rub that I've used before. It's very similar to the texture of the gelatos. It's like a soft paste. So maybe I'll add a little bit, goes a long way with these as well. Maybe I'll just kind of buff that on some of these edges as well. Just a few places here and there. Like I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I think it does pull in nicely with the gold from the stencil paste and also just the gold in the lettering of that paper. Maybe a little bit up in this corner as well. Don't want any in the center. Maybe just super soft. Just to add a little bit of a glow. Okay, I think that's good. Like I said, I don't want to overdo it. So I am going to go to my Tim Holtz Small Talk stickers now and flip through and find a sentiment. I think I'm going to go with black today. I think it just would fit nicely with this. So let me see what I want to use today. All right, I think I have something here that's going to make sense. So we have, I think we're going to do Embrace Beautiful Chaos. Hold tight and pretend it's a plan, which I think is very apropos for January because we can make all the resolutions in the world, but you never know what life is going to throw at you. So live in the moment. And shine like the whole universe is yours. I had to put that one in there with this theme. So maybe we'll go just slightly more over. There we go. Just gonna kind of highlight them with some sketchy lines. this one over here as well. I think I want to do some gold splatters. I like all the gold touches that we have. I think I want to continue in that vein. So I'm going to grab my Gansai Tambi Starry Colors. I think I'm going to use this shade right here. I'm just going to add some water to that so I can reconstitute it. And then grab a paintbrush. Kind of mix that up and get it flowing. So it's nice and pigmented. Okay, and then let's just do a little bit of splatter here. On this side as well. Maybe just a touch more right there. Okay, I think that's good. So all that's left is to grab my date stamp. I'm using this one here. So we have got to change everything on this one. We are going to change the year to 2023, the date to January, and today is the 18th. Okay. Alright, and I'm going to use Ranger Archival ink for this. Just going to ink that up really well off to the side here. And I'm going to add it right in this spot that I kind of gave myself by adding a little extra gesso. Okay. So that finishes up my art journal spread for January 2023. I really like how it turned out. Hopefully you guys do too. So if you do, go ahead and give that video a thumbs up. That lets me know that I'm doing a good job. It also really helps with the YouTube algorithm. You can leave me a comment down below and make sure that you're subscribed so you can follow along each month as I do another art journal with me video. And of course, my regular card making videos, which is twice a week. So thank you so much. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing day, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye-bye.